Kate, how are you?
Hey, Dominic, I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm great. It seems like a long time since we spoke last, but
But time flies when we're having fun in business, right?
we're having fun in business. Well, time's flying for you too. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that in
Yes.
a minute. Hey, everybody, thank you for checking in. Kate is going to talk to us about something very, very interesting today for interior designers, but don't hang up this podcast, and I'll tell you why. She's talking about marketing for those of us in this industry. Now, the title of this today is How to Get Customers from the Magic Box, the magic box being the computer or your phone or whatever your mobile device is. But Kate's going to talk about how to get more deals through the internet and online and all those tools. So it doesn't matter what your specialization is here. If you're a countertop person, or if you do interior design, or if you're an architectural millworker or a kitchen cabinet maker, you're all going to get value from this. That's why I'm so excited to have you on. And you go by Kate the Socialite.
Yes, I go by Kate the Socialite because my last name is German and it's kind of complicated to pronounce and spell. So it's just so much easier to say Kate the Socialite.
Okay. Well, there's lots of Germans and Austrians in this business because they are drawn to the specificity of the machinery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we'll keep it Kate the Socialite. Hey, Kate, who are you and why and how are you talking to a group of kitchen cabinet, architectural millworkers, and designers?
Who am I? Well, that is a question that I could mull over for a long time. But in short, I am an entrepreneur. I'm a podcast host and I'm a marketer for people in the home industry. And when I first started my business several years ago, I was trying to be a marketer for all the business owners. That did not work so well. And I decided to specialize. And because of that, I've been able to develop some really strategic and simple ways for people in the home industry to market their businesses and get more of the right clients.
Excellent. Well, I've gone to your website. It's stunning, like beautifully
Thank
laid out,
you.
great colors, very elegant, lots of flair. I really like it. And before we get too far, what's the name of your podcast? Because people that listen to this might listen to yours.
Sure, it is The Kate Show.
And how do you spell that? The Kate Show. Okay, that's good.
Yep.
That is
Yep. Again, leaving my last name out of it, which, I mean, if anyone wants to know, my last name is Grunke, and it is not spelled the way it sounds. It's complicated. So when I took on that married name, I was like, I can't use this. I love you, honey, but it's not going to work.
how are we going to do this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the Germans listening right now are like nodding their head going, I know how to spell that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they are probably thinking, oh, but there's a better way to pronounce it, which is true. There are different ways to pronounce that last name. I'm not German. I have no clue.
Yeah.
I'm just brought into the family.
You're Kate the Socialite, and that's what you're good at.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm interested to hear about this. And the reason I'm interested is because I have an online business essentially through the podcast. I provide courses, and that's how I educate the people that listen here. And I suppose you do the same thing. So today we're talking about how to get customers from the magic box, that magic box being, as I said, computers and mobile devices and iPads and things like that. And I went and looked at your website as we were starting. You've got some awesome downloads there, like really well laid out, nice documents. I think anybody could follow for getting more business.
Yes, absolutely. I do give away a lot of free stuff on my website just because I want people to have the right tools and I want people in the home industry to understand that marketing their business doesn't need to be expensive or complicated or drawn out or something that overwhelms them or scares them. And when you came up with today's topic and title, I thought it was so perfect because when you refer to the computer as the magic box, I mean, for a lot of people, that's what it is. They don't understand it
Yeah.
and they don't understand the internet or how it should apply to their lives. And what I've done is just broken it all down into something that's digestible and actionable.
Mm.
Something that is not going to require you to go hire a full marketing team to get it done.
Oh, you know what? I'm glad you said that because, the people that are listening to this show, I talk to them all the time, or talk to people like them all the time. They're busy. They're busy
Mhm.
doing what they do. If they have a showroom, people are coming into the showroom, they're processing deals, they're trying to work with their project managers and their installers. If they're more on the building side, they're busy doing estimates and everything else. And adding marketing to the list, which is People didn't get into cabinetry and kitchen design because they're good at marketing. They got into it because they're beautiful at design. They can do beautiful designs, or they're very good with their hands and with working. So how do you do? Well, maybe we should ask Kate, how do I get customers from the magic box?
Yes. Well, there is a multi-step process. And before I dive into it, I want everyone listening to think of it as any sort of project you would take on. There's no such thing as throwing a piece of wood at the wall and having it turn into something beautiful just like that. There has to be a plan in place and certain practices that you always follow to ensure a good end result. And marketing is the same way, but again, it doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg and your firstborn child. So we get started with it by simply going over why you need to understand that your leads are starting to come from an online source, even if you've been operating off of word of mouth referrals. And I'll be the first to admit that word of mouth referrals are the best. I mean, they stand the test of time. It doesn't matter how much technology changes. The fact that one person refers you to another person is going to be your best marketing tool ever. So what you need to do with your online marketing is enhance that. Enhance your word of mouth referrals. And the first way you do that is by posting consistently on social media. But I do want to clarify what that is, because a lot of people think, oh crap, now I have to post every single day and I have no idea how to, like, what the heck is a Facebook? I hear that a lot.
What do I post? What do I post?
Yeah, what do I say?
Who am I?
Yes. Yeah, so basically, the whole point of social media is to drive traffic to your website, and it's also a place where you can let people see behind the scenes of your projects and really get to know you as a person. Social media has nothing to do with selling. If you get on social media and you start saying, oh, well, buy one, get one free, or book a free consultation, that will attract bargain hunters. And those people do not ever intend to hire you, and they don't see your value. So what you instead need to do is, and this is what I tell my clients every day, every Monday, post a photo of your work. Every Wednesday, share a tip from your industry that your client might find helpful. So it doesn't mean you go into a bunch of industry jargon, but if you are a countertop installer and you have opinions about which countertops are better for certain applications, you can share that knowledge. That's not going to hurt your business. That's going to show that you are a leader in your industry and that you know what you're talking about. Every Friday, get a little bit more personal. You could share a photo of yourself or your family or your messy workspace or whatever you prefer, because you want people to understand that you are a real human serving other real humans. And it doesn't matter how big your company is or how many employees you might have, you guys are still real people. And people will remember that connection far longer than they'll remember that you ran a sale one time.
It's funny you say that, because for all the posting that I do to social media, and I have an assistant, I'll be the first to admit that, because I need an assistant to keep me on track. The funniest comments I get most often are about my claim that I'm a bad fly fisherman. And that is posted in one place, pretty high level. So anybody who checks me out would see it. But I get comments back on how bad a fly fisherman I am, which is actually works out well for the fish. But it's funny you say that. That's what people remember most.
Absolutely is. They just want to know that you're another human and you can laugh at yourself. And that's another thing that I will tell my clients, because quite honestly, 99% of my clients are female. Not that I won't work with men. Obviously, I think men are great. I married one. But I tend to work mostly with women, and they are very nervous about getting personal because they have a lot of hangups about, well, I don't look a certain way, or I think people are going to judge me. And I do want to say, for any women listening, or even men who might have those insecurities, just remember that you will always be your marketing asset, like the biggest asset your marketing will ever have. It's not your logo. It's not the fancy videos you produce. It's not the professional photography. It's just you. And that concept is so simple, but it is also so hard to comprehend.
Yeah. Yeah. And we worry about how I used to worry about how I sound, how I look. There's nothing I can do about it. This is what I've got. It's not getting any better. So just get to it and be myself. And then I've always been in very competitive industries. I'm not sure about you. I mean, your industry is very competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And you've found
It
a niche, people that like working with you and who you are and the way you are.
absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up because the idea of having competition is always intriguing to me. I used to feel that I had competition until I found a niche market and I was comfortable being myself,
Hmm.
myself and a business owner. And when I realized I could just be myself and that there is actually nobody out there like me with my unique skill sets, just like with people listening, there's nobody out there quite like you. You do things differently, you interact with people differently. That also means at the end of the day, you truly don't have any direct competition. Sure, there's going to be other businesses who do what you do, but not the way you do it.
Right. Yeah. You're the best. You're the best you can be.
Yeah, which is so cliche, but it's
Yeah,
true.
no, that's why I said it like that. But it's true. It's 100% true. So when we look at posting consistently on social media, that's a really good point. Just post Monday and Wednesday and Friday, and you have some suggestions for us. What about the channel? How do I know, well, what is a channel? And how do I
Mhm.
know which channel is right?
Yeah, so right now in the home industry, the two most popular social channels to be on are Facebook and Instagram. Instagram caters to a younger crowd. So if your ideal client tends to be 40 years of age or younger,
Hmm.
you'll likely want to make sure you have a presence on Instagram. But if you're serving a clientele that's in their, late 40s, 50s, or even 60s, those people are usually on Facebook and they don't even know what an Instagram is. So you'll want to make sure that you're showing up where your ideal client already is and not just showing up on social media because one time a marketing person told you were supposed to.
Right. Yeah. You may not know this, but I'm taking notes because you just did the age breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And so I understand Facebook a little bit. And then you said that people over 40 don't even know what an Instagram is. And I thought, well, I'm 50 and I don't really get it. I don't.
Yep,
I don't get Twitter
exactly.
at all. Twitter to me is just an absolute waste of time. I don't get it at all.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But other people live by Twitter. So
Yes,
you're saying that my market, whoever my ideal client is sort of dictates the channel I should be on.
absolutely. Yeah.
Mm.
And not even just their age, but also the type of person they are. So we know that a lot of people in the trades, especially men, they will usually just be on Facebook. And it's not even for business, it's just for fun.
Yeah.
And for any females listening, they're likely just going to be on Instagram, especially if they're designers and looking for design clients. But I do have a lot of designers who work in the high end market and they serve retirees. And for them, they need to be on Facebook more than they ever need to be on Instagram.
Hmm. So it may the very first thing then for which channel to be on is who's my ideal client.
Absolutely. It always goes back to the ideal client. When I have someone questioning, should I do a rebrand? Should I add another social media platform to my arsenal? Should I wrap my vehicle? I always ask them, well, how is this serving your ideal client? And that's not a trick question.
No.
If it's serving them, then great, do it. If it's going to appeal to them, then just go for it. But if you're just doing it because you feel like it's a good idea, or you just want to, or you're ready for a change, you need to think long and hard before you make those changes.
Right. Okay, so is that step one then? Post consistently on social media?
Yes, that is step one. And it is one of the most important things to understand. You're not necessarily going to get new clients directly from social media, especially if you don't have the rest of the sales funnel in place. So the second step of the sales funnel is what is called a lead magnet. And this is
Mm.
usually where people start to get that glazed look in their eyes. And I'm like, okay, don't leave me yet. We're going to get through this.
Yeah.
But a lead magnet is simply like a branded magazine. It can be 3 pages, 6 pages, it could even be 1 page. but it's something that sits on your website and it offers valuable tips or information for your ideal client. And if your ideal client wants it, all they have to do is put in their email address and then it's automatically sent to them.
Right.
And setting up that type of automation, it's actually pretty darn easy. If you hire someone to do it for you, they could get it done in an hour or less.
Right.
We do it all the time for our members and our customers. And it's simple, but it also means that you never have to manually put another contact into your mailing list. You never have to manually send out the lead magnet in an email. It all just happens for you. And you can share that lead magnet on social media, which means you're driving people from social media to your website and then enticing them to get in your mailing list.
Right. So you put the lead magnet. So if it's a report, I'm going to put that report on like how to choose the countertop that's right for you. I just made that up.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, or 10 ways to XYZ, but let's just say how to choose the countertop that's right for you. I'm going to post that on social media. Somebody's going to click on that. Then they're going to go to my website. The website's going to ask for somebody's email address.
Yep.
And once they give me the email address, they get the report.
Yep, exactly. And you just have to make sure that the lead magnet you're putting out there is a good representation of your brand. So make sure it doesn't look like it was designed in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure that it's on a topic that actually is relevant to the type of person you would most like to work with. So
Right.
again, it goes back to your ideal client.
I love that. You know, we've done something like that for the industry, which is called a space planner document.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many people don't know how to, well, they maybe never hired a designer before. They don't know what their ideas are. And for people selling kitchen cabinets and countertops, having some written idea gives them a place to start. So we created this space planner document. It's just like that. So people click on the space planner. So I give this to my clients. And the clients post it, but people click on the space planner and then they answer all sorts of very interesting questions like, who's going to make the decision on this kitchen? What's your budget? What do you like about a kitchen? Are you left-handed? Are you right-handed? You know, do you entertain people? Do you stay home a lot? And all of these things become this big information piece that helps designers like you help the client better. But of course, they've traded their email address for that. And now you can continue to communicate with them and keep adding value.
Yeah, and continuing to communicate with them is the next step in the sales funnel.
Oh, good.
And it happens to be the final step because, like I said, I really believe in keeping things simple.
Yeah.
But the final step is also the most important because that's where people convert from just being interested to actually writing you a check. And what you need to do with your list of contacts, so your list of past clients, your list of past leads that maybe they didn't hire you, but there was still a positive interaction, make sure that you are sending them an email once a month. And you can make a lot of this automated through a tool like MailChimp. That's one that I'm a big fan of. And that way you stay top of mind with them. Plus, they get to learn more about what you do. And if you can share photos of your work, that's even better because then they know exactly how valuable you are, but you don't come across as salesy. Now, you can always include what's called a call to action at the end of each newsletter, which I always recommend doing. But make sure that your newsletter does not become a book. Make sure that it stays around 300 words and that you're only including 3 to 5 photos and that you include a photo of yourself or your team along with a tiny little bio, a mini bio, because the whole point is to stay in touch. It is not to come across like a car salesman.
Yeah, you want to just be there helpful when they need you.
And when I get to this step in the sales funnel, people are often like, okay, but I don't know what to write about. I have no idea what to say, or I don't have enough projects right now to be able to share that many photos every month. And to that, I often tell people, well, go back to the struggles that your ideal client has. Think about the frequently asked questions that come your way and choose one question each month and just answer it. And include an image and encourage them to respond to your email if they have any other questions, or include a link so they can book a consultation with you.
Right. Yeah, just being helpful, being there for people. I mean, I think part of it is just understanding that we're here to serve. Selling is not about doing something to somebody else. It's actually helping people buy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're an expert at what you do. I'm an expert at what I do. I can show people how to get my services, and you can show people how to get your services. And that's our job. And if people want it, then they buy. It's not because I sold them something. It's my
Absolutely.
job to be really to serve others the best I can, as I need to be a teacher and an educator.
Yeah, and when you come across with the mindset of serving someone, then you won't have that icky feeling that comes with selling yourself. Because I know that maybe this is more of a female thing than a male thing, but a lot of women have a hard time selling their services, and they just want to help people. And to
Yeah.
that, I'm like, great, because that's exactly what you're doing. Think of how much these people suffer when they don't have a professional like you in their life to take care of their project.
Mm-hmm. Suffer is the right word.
Mm-hmm.
Suffer is the right word. Can I tell you something about my background in sales?
Yeah.
Because I have a background in sales. Um, the women I've encountered who are good at sales are orders of magnitude better than the best guy.
Interesting. And why do you think that is?
I I don't know, because I'm a guy. but but when I find a woman who's really good at what they do and very very good at selling, they the proper word is crush. Whoever's number two is so far behind them. I think
Mm-hmm.
it has to do with confidence and the fact that women can express the fact that they care
Mm-hmm.
so much easier than guys do. It's like it's a natural thing we feel for a woman to appear caring,
Yes.
and so then trust comes along with that, right? If you care about me, I trust you.
Yeah. And that is such a good point, because I know that a lot of women, myself included, can at times feel like the fact that we have, how do I say this? Maybe more powerful emotions than a lot of men do might be a problem in business, but it isn't always. I mean, too much emotion would be just like a lack of emotion would be as well. But when we use that to our benefit, as you said, showing people that we're doing this because we do actually care. We have a passion that fires us up every day to do what we do, and we truly just want to help. That sells faster than any discount ever could.
Oh yeah, no discounts.
Yep,
No,
we don't like
no,
discounts.
I don't like discounts. I would rather, and please, everybody listening, if you're used to giving discounts, stop. And instead of giving discounts, add more value and keep your price the same.
Amen.
Right? Add more value and keep your price the same.
Yes.
Um, this has been fantastic. I have a question though from point number one. Can I go back to it?
Yeah, let's do
So
it.
point number one is post consistently on social media. I've had lots of people ask me, how do you get good pictures?
Mm.
And this is my answer, and I want to hear your critique of my answer. My answer is people don't want good pictures, they want real pictures.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
my thought. I know you're talking about home staging and making kitchens and other pieces of work look beautiful. My thought would be post something, even if it's from your phone. What's your thought on that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say with social media, the trend has been going away from having that perfectly curated feed. So the good news is you can just whip out your smartphone and take a picture of your project. What I would suggest is investing in professional photography of some of your best work at least once per quarter, just
Hmm.
because those photos can be placed on your website. You can use them to enter to win different awards, or if you end up being featured by a magazine, they're going to need that anyway.
Mhm.
So it's just a really smart idea, because this industry is completely visual. If people can't see it, how will they know that they need it?
Yeah.
So yeah, you still need professional photography, but don't let that be the barrier that keeps you from social media. You have a smartphone, you can use it.
So now I've got a follow-on question because you raised a really good point. In the life cycle of putting in, let's just use a kitchen for this example. In the life cycle of putting in a kitchen, when the cabinets are in, the appliances aren't, it's not photo time.
Mm.
So how do you project manage when we send in the photographer to a job to get the right picture, the right set of pictures at the right time for this kitchen?
So in that situation, especially if you're not the GC of the project and you may not know when that project is reaching completion, You can reach out to the general contractor or the interior designer of that project and be like, hey, are you going to take pictures of this when it's done? And if they say yes, you can say, can you please send those to me? I'd like to share them on social media and I'll certainly give you credit. And
Wonderful.
usually they're more than happy because they want more eyes on this project because it ultimately bodes well for both them and you.
Right. And if they're not going to do that, or if you're working more one-on-one with a homeowner?
In that situation, you can ask the homeowner, hey, do you mind if I come back when this is all done and I'll bring a professional photographer with me? And if they say no, then you just have to move on. There's nothing else you can do. But if they are comfortable with it, then you'll need to follow up with them around the time you think the project will be done and come back at that time. So there is a little bit of follow-up, but you don't have to do it with every single project. But
Right.
if you've got a particularly phenomenal project and you're like, okay, I want more of this type of work and I'm really proud of what I did here, then it's worth it to follow up and make sure you can get those photos.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I mean, you know, we had pictures taken of our house because we were thinking about selling it. And the photographer that came by, he said something really interesting. He's like, when was if we were talking about how much time it took to stage the photos properly, take everything off the counter and stuff. And he goes, but when was the last time you took pictures of this house? He goes, you're going to look back 50 years from now and say, I wish we'd taken pictures when we first did, you know, this reno. And he was
Mm-hmm.
right. You just
Yeah.
don't take nice pictures of your house.
Yeah, no one really thinks to do that. They just want to live in it. They don't really want it to be picture perfect anyway.
Yeah, yeah. But I think there's a lot of people who would be proud, especially because for many people, and I think if they're using a designer or somebody like yourself, it's an indication that they've done something in life to get them to the point where they can now do this. And
Hmm.
taking pictures is kind of a recognition of that fact. So having you come back is the actual, not even the icing on the cake, it's the candle that goes on and goes, we've made it, we've got it. The designer came back and took pictures. She was so proud that she even wanted photos of it.
Yeah, and a lot of homeowners are definitely flattered by that. And it's just on a case by case basis, really.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
every now and then you might have that client who is extremely private and they just don't want photos of their home placed anywhere. And if that's the case, then just thank them and move on. But most of the time, people will be more than happy to let you come in and take photos.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. Are those the three points of how to get customers from the magic box?
Yes, and believe it or not, it took me several years to boil it down to just those basic things where
Mm,
you don't always need complicated email sequences. Now, someone who has a totally online business, that's different. You know, people like
yeah.
you and I, Dominic, of course, we need that stuff. But people in the trades are being oversold on marketing services and
Yeah.
marketing products, and it drains their marketing budget, it stresses them out, and they don't get the results they want from it. So that's why I had to just cut out the bull crap and keep it simple.
Keep it simple and get started. I think that's actually the greatest point of all is just get started. Do one
Yeah.
thing and move forward.
Yep.
Um, so I had mentioned before, your website is stunning. Do you mind mentioning the website as well again and in your own words? And then if you've got something that you want people to download, or if you've got some free tools that you think, link with our topic, what would those be?
Yeah, definitely. So if you go to socialitevault.com, that's vault just like a bank vault, I have a free gift on there for all your listeners where they can grab a marketing plan. So
Oh,
it basically outlines everything I talked about, gives examples so that nobody's confused or lost, and it really helps people understand how simple a sales funnel could be.
you really came to this prepared. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Okay. So that's Socialite Vault I've written
Yep,
down. Socialitevault.com.
socialitevault.com.
Yeah. Okay. And how do they reach you if they want to ask you more questions or find out more about you?
So there is a chat feature on the site they can use, or I have another site, which is katethesocialite.com, and that's for all of my custom services, my podcast, stuff like that. So if people are interested, then they can certainly head over there.
Ah, okay. And out of curiosity, where would we be seeing any life changes happening for you, Kate?
Oh, you mean that one thing?
how,
Yeah, so
how far along are you?
I am 8 months pregnant with our first child. Got a little
Nice.
girl coming. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it,
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is really exciting, and it makes me all the more thankful that I have a team,
Right.
because if I was still running this by myself, it just would not be possible.
Mm. Yeah, that's great. And so then you're on Instagram, are you, or on Facebook?
I'm
Both.
on both, but you can reach me on Instagram at Kate the Socialite, and same on Facebook.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and congratulations on the little one.
Thank you.
I don't want to ask what the name's going to be, but do you have your short list of names?
We do have a name picked out, which it's so hard because I want to tell everyone, but yet we want it to be a surprise for when she's actually in the world. So yeah, we have a name for her. Trying to get the nursery together, and I'm hoping she's overdue, which I think most pregnant women do not say, but I need more time. I am
I
so
knew you were going to
happy.
say that. You're like, I'm busy. I've got
Yeah,
things to do.
yes.
And you asked me why women are more effective at that's the answer right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, hey, thank you very much for joining us. I've been eager to have you on the show because there are designers that listen to the show, and I haven't had somebody like you on for a long time speaking directly to them. But also, when I first met you, I understood that what you were talking about wasn't just for designers; it's for any. And if you're selling kitchen cabinets, even in the commercial space, this will work.
It will,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, the delivery of it might look a little different, the aesthetics will look a little different, but the core concept is the same.
Right. Yeah. Love it. And I just said kitchen cabinets in the commercial space. That's not what I meant. I meant if you're selling
We
architectural
all know what
millwork
you mean.
in the commercial space. Yeah. All right. Well, Kate, thank you so much for joining us here today. I really appreciate having you. And hopefully the next time I hear from you, I will find out what the name of your little bundle of joy is.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Have a great day.
You
Thanks.
too.
Bye.